Good morning, team. Today I want to tell you a story about when I was a little girl. I was living in Southern California, and my grandparents had a beach house in Ocean City, Maryland. And my older sister, she was probably about 15 or 16, and I was about 12 or 13. She was supposed to spend a month in Ocean City with my grandparents. Well, my sister got in a little bit of trouble, and my parents refused to send her, so they sent me instead. Well, at this time of my life, we were about an hour and a half away from the airport. And if you know anything about the freeway system in Southern California, it's about 10 lanes wide, and the traffic is horrible. So my mom dropped me off at the local Howard Johnson's. And remember, I was about 12. I was not scared at all, though. She dropped me off, and I took a bus with my paper airline ticket. And the bus dropped me off at the front of the airport. And I walked in and went up to the desk, and I got checked in. And then I went to the payphone, because this was before cell phones. And I called my mom to tell her that everything was just fine, and I ended up leaving my paper ticket in the phone booth. So I made it all the way to my gate. Lord knows how. I don't think there were security systems and security check lines at that point in time. But this very nice man went back to the phone booth and found my ticket and gave it to me. Well, I remember this flight being on the 4th of July because as I flew over the country, it was evening time. I could see all of the fireworks going off, one town after another, and it was a beautiful sight. So I ended up spending a month with my grandparents, and it was just me and them. So I did a whole bunch of things with my grandparents. Went to the library, did a lot of cooking, learned how to play solitaire with my grandmother. And one thing I loved to do was I loved to go crabbing. What I would do is I would walk to the local butcher shop and ask them for their leftover chicken guts and necks and pieces. And I would walk to the end of the pier and I would take a string. This was very low budget. I would tie a string to the chicken neck and I would drop it down to the floor of the bay, and then I would inch the string back up. And there would be a crab holding on to the chicken neck. And I would take my net and I would scoop the crab up and put it in my bucket. Well, why am I telling you this? First of all, it was an awesome memory for me. I would always end the adventure taking a bushel of crabs, beautiful blue crabs from the bay in Maryland, to my grandmother. And she would know just how to cook them, and I would spend hours with her picking them. I might even post a picture of me because I have a crab pinching my ear hanging down from when I was just a kid. So maybe I'll post that on our page. But anyway, it was a wonderful memory for me. I loved it. I loved everything about the adventure and the solitude and doing things on my own. But last night I was reading this incredible book called The Art of War. And it is a breakthrough. It's kind of like a self-help book, and the subtitle is Break Through the Blocks and Win Your Inner Creative Battles. Well, one thing that it talks about is when a person decides to do something better for themselves, how the other people around them. Remember, we talked about the rejection rocket. Well, how the other people around them can feel very uncomfortable. So the quote in the book says, "The highest treason a crab can commit is to make a leap for the rim of the bucket." Okay, and I think that just hit home for me because the people around us, you have to be careful to recognize what's happening and understand what's happening when people don't lift you up in this adventure, when they want to hold you back down. So this book is about resistance, and I encourage all of you to check it out. But he describes resistance. I'll read it to you. Resistance is, resistance cannot be seen, touched, heard, or smelled, but it can be felt. We experience it as an energy field radiating from a work in potential. It's a repelling force. It's negative. Its aim is to shove us away, distract us, prevent us from doing the things that make us successful. Resistance arises from within. It is self-generated and self-perpetuated. Resistance is the enemy within us. Okay, so that's important because remember, yesterday I had some questions about my post about getting out of your own way. And that's what I'm talking about, because oftentimes resistance seems to come from outside of ourselves. We locate it in spouses and jobs, bosses and kids. We call them peripheral opponents. But that is not what resistance is. It is not about those other people. It is a feeling that comes from within us, usually resulting from fear. So if we can identify that that is what's happening and get past it, that's what I mean by getting out of your own way. So my lights are flickering. I'm losing power. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, share that story with you, that awesome memory that I have, and really talk more about this inner struggle we have to face our fears, move past them, and try to be successful in this opportunity that is so incredible. So let me know what you think. As always, I hope this video was helpful. Ask any questions you have and have a wonderful day.